The MiG-31 Foxhound heavyweight interceptor was the first Soviet fourth-generation combat jet to enter service, joining the Air Force in 1981, a year before the MiG-29A lightweight fighter, and 4 years before the Su-27 heavyweight air superiority fighter. The Foxhound remains today the heaviest combat jet in the world, designed for air-to-air engagements, and was not only faster and higher flying than the MiG-29 or Su-27, but also carried much more dangerous weapons, including active radar-guided air-to-air missiles, which not only had much longer ranges and heavier payloads than those deployed by the later aircraft, but also had fire-and-forget capabilities, meaning they did not need to be guided by the aircraft throughout their flights. The MiG-31 also had a larger and more powerful radar than any other fighter or interceptor of its time, which combined with other features such as its satellite capabilities, led to be considered one of the two most capable aircraft of the Cold War era in terms of air-to-air combat capability, alongside the F-14D Tomcat of the U.S. Navy, which entered service in 1991. While the MiG-31 was a formidable aircraft, it was also the most expensive both to operate and to produce, and following the sharp decline in the Russian military aviation industry after the Soviet collapse in the 1990s, plans to enter an enhanced variant of the Foxhound into production, the MiG-31M, were terminated due to budgetary constraints. This meant that modernization of the MiG-31 was far more conservative than that of the MiG-29 or Su-27, which were not only cheaper, but had been offered for export earlier, meaning there was a greater demand for more advanced variants from foreign clients, forcing Russia to invest in updating the designs. As a result, the Foxhound would cease to be produced, with over 200 in Russian service, more than 100 more in reserve, and a single squadron deployed by neighboring Kazakhstan. This has led to speculation that the aircraft would face an early retirement, which was partly confirmed by the CEO of the Russian Aircraft Corporation MiG, Sergei Korotkov. Speaking at the International Aerospace Show FITI 2016 in Chile, Korotkov stated, "By 2028, the fighter interceptor MiG-31 will cease to exist. We have the time to create a new aircraft as a replacement." While a successor to the Foxhound is currently under development, an ambitious interceptor known as the MiG-41, which is reportedly capable of operating in space and can fly at hypersonic speeds, the prospects for this aircraft replacing even half of the MiG-31 by 2028 appear very slim. The MiG-41 is being designed as a sixth-generation aircraft and is not known to have yet carried out its first flight, and given the track record for post-Soviet Russian aircraft designs, it would be a major achievement for the jet to have entered even an initial operating capacity by 2028 on this basis. The MiG Bureau has been working on the design of the new aircraft since 2013 that, according to some Russian claims, can reach earth-shattering speeds of Mach 5. Some Russian reports had also claimed the new PAK-DP could be developed into an unmanned fighter in the future. The head of MiG Factory during a defense exhibition in 2017 claimed it will be a completely new aircraft where completely new technologies for working in the Arctic sphere will be applied. He said the PAK-DP will guard the entire border of our homeland, then it will be transferred to the unmanned project. If a Russian newspaper Izvestia is to be believed, the MiG-41 will become an interceptor of hypersonic missiles by carrying a multifunctional long-range interceptor missile system, MPKRDP, that will dispense several sub-missiles in order to increase the chance of intercepting hypersonic weapons. The paper goes on to explain the concept after a hypersonic projectile is detected by Russia's ground radars or early warning network, the MiG-41 will launch the interceptor missile at long range. That missile will split off into smaller sub-missiles, which will then attack the projectile head-on. The head of Russian Aircraft Corporation Ilya Tarasenko had once claimed the new MiG-41 will be equipped with an anti-missile laser and would be able to operate at very high altitudes and even in near space. He even indicated to a Russian outlet RIA Novosti that the PAK-DP can operate in outer space. The PAK-DP, or MiG-41, will have the ability to operate in space, new weapons, new speeds, new operational range, Tarasenko told Zvezda TV channel. According to the commander of the Russian Air Force, the introduction of the aircraft into service is planned for 2025. To be a formidable interceptor, the PAC-DP will need to have ultra-high speed and the ability to fly to extremely high altitudes to be able to neutralize ultra-fast targets at high altitudes. That will also require new weapons and upgraded on-board radar systems. Not much is known about the weapons MiG-41 will be carrying, although the head of the Russian Aerospace Forces told the media this year that the fighter will carry R-37 long-range air-to-air missiles, as well as completely new missiles. The Russian news outlet Izvestia had also reported the MiG-41 will carry a multifunctional long-range interceptor missile system, capable of hitting hypersonic missiles with multiple warheads. The media reports indicated the fighter's design had already been finalized by the end of 2019, and Tarasenko had told the reporters the development was in progress in June this year. However, there is considerable doubt about all the claims being made about what new technologies MiG-41 is going to be armed with. The military analysts argue that developing an unmanned version of PAC-DP by the country will be highly unlikely at this juncture, considering it requires significant technical commitment and considerable resources, both of which are lacking in Russia today. The lack of any media briefings about the development of the fighter program could indicate delays or technical difficulties in the project. The pilots and aircraft manufacturers have made very few statements about the abilities of this project, which, therefore, has created more confusion than answered any questions. On the other hand, if everything goes according to plan, Russia will have the most advanced interceptor and technically sophisticated fighter in the world by the 2030s. With over 200 Foxhounds in service, and the MiG-41 expected to be much more costly than any existing Russian fighter or interceptor, very likely the most costly outside the Western world, Russia is highly unlikely to replace its entire Foxhound fleet, even by the mid-2030s. Furthermore, while interceptor variants of the MiG-31 may eventually be replaced, it is likely that more recent variants designated with other missions such as satellite hunting or delivery of hypersonic ballistic missiles, as with the MiG-31K, could remain in service into the 2040s due to the lack of urgency for replacing them, in much the same way as bombers can remain in service for decades because they are not required to participate in air-to-air engagements. Ultimately, it is unlikely that the MiG-31 will be fully retired by 2035, let alone 2028, and given the aircraft's tremendous potential to incorporate upgrades and serve in a wide range of roles, this may not necessarily be a bad thing for the Russian Air Force.